Welcome to English 4420, Selected Topics in Creative Writing. This is going to be a fan fiction writing class. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I wanted to go through the syllabus with you guys a little bit, hit some high points, and talk about what you'll do in this class. First and foremost, I am Savannah Matthews. I've been teaching with Troy for about 8 years now. I love it. I have a master's degree in liberal arts with a concentration in creative writing from AUM. So I love creative writing, I love reading it, I love writing it, and I love teaching these classes. I will reply to emails within 24 to 48 hours. I try to reply to emails really quickly. So if you email me and you do not get a response from me after 48 hours, email me again. It may be that an email got, shuffled somewhere in the mix. I didn't get it, but I do reply to emails really quickly. Office hours. So for my online office hours, I do keep office hours through Microsoft Teams every Monday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. I give you the link in each week's module, and so if you want to hop on during that hour, you can. Keep in mind that anybody can hop on during that hour, anyone from class. So if you have anything personal you need to discuss or anything to do with grades, it's best if you email me that information, because like I said, for the Microsoft Team office hours, it's a 1 hour open time for anybody to hop on. So feel free to do that if you need to anytime throughout the class. Catalog description. So the catalog description for this class is a study of a topic of special interest and importance not covered in regularly offered courses in creative writing. So my description for this class is an advanced writing techniques on using fan fiction writing. You'll utilize these techniques to produce roughly 40 to 50 pages of fan fiction. So you're going to have different short stories throughout the term, and the hope is that you'll have a good portfolio of fan fiction to have. We'll also be discussing various stories in the discussion posts. I'll talk about that more in just a minute. So in this class, you'll really learn how to write fan fiction. You'll learn the techniques. You'll learn different writing prompts of how to write fan fiction. Like I said, this is going to be a very fun class. I'm really excited about it. So my hope is that you will have enough short stories for a portfolio to hopefully maybe be able to submit for publication somewhere. Textbooks. So we do have 2 textbooks in this class. The first one is The Great Gatsby. Now I know that this book, my copy, is a little bit different from the ones that you guys have. I have ordered that copy. Just make sure we're all on the same page when I refer to any kind of certain page numbers in the book. You all probably have read this book before. It is my favorite book of all time. I treasure it dearly. So any chance I get to use this book in the class, I do jump on that chance. So it's a classic. It's a great book. So this is the one book we'll be using. The second book is more of a modern book. It's called You Look Better as a Ghost. This book was published last year. It was actually recommended to me by an employee at Barnes & Noble. I was buying tons of books one day and bought a book that was like a murder type book. And the guy at Barnes & Noble recommended this book to me, and I'm glad he did. It's really great. It's a thriller book. It's a first person point of view, and I'm going to tell you because on the back, the first person point of view is someone who does bad things to people, and you kind of get to see her life and what she goes through. It's really, really good. You'll probably finish it in 2 days. I did. I couldn't put it down. But I kind of like having a classic book and then a more modern book. Some of the writing prompts you'll do will kind of merge these two together in a fan fiction piece. So I'm very excited about it. We'll also read short stories, and I'll go through that on a syllabus in a minute. The short stories, I couldn't find a good anthology that had all the short stories I want to use in this class. So I have downloaded PDF copies, and I put those in the weekly modules where you will read those short stories. So you don't have to worry about having to buy another book for the short stories. Let's see here. Attendance policy. We don't have physical class meetings. It's an online class, but do make sure you are participating, being active in the class. I always tell students, make sure you check Canvas every day. I may post an announcement. I may email you. But the best thing to do is check Canvas every day and stay active in the class. Work on discussion boards. I like there to be some kind of like a thread between students and discussion boards, but be very active in the class. We don't meet face to face, and so the best way to interact with you guys is through discussion boards. So please make sure you do those. Makeup work policy. If I have not heard from you by the deadline dates for assignments, then you will not be able to make up the work. Now, if you email me way in advance because you have written documentation showing that you're at the hospital, you're at doctor's office, or whatever it might be, let me know before that assignment is due, okay? If I haven't heard from you by that deadline, you can't make it up. But if something has happened, email me that documentation before it's due, and I can work with you on getting that made up. Computer problems, unfortunately, are not an acceptable excuse. The biggest advice I can give students online is do not wait until the night that something is due to do it, because we all know technology fails sometimes. You never know what's going to happen. So make sure you get your assignments done on time. I open up all the weekly modules on Monday, and I give you the whole week until Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to do those discussion boards, and you always are going to know what's going to come up. So the best advice I can give you is don't wait until the last minute. Okay, get it done early. Incomplete grade policy. If for some reason you feel like you might need an incomplete grade, there is information on the syllabus of how to go through with that. All right, assignments. So you will have 3 short stories. These are like the major short stories in class. They're roughly between 5 to 7 pages. Okay, and then that is 50% of the class. The big chunk of the class are the 3 short stories. That's like the meat of the class. So you'll submit short stories. You will get a chance to give each other feedback on those short stories. I group you together with people in the class, and you only read the stories of the students that are in your group, and you get feedback on those. You also have a writer's notebook. If you've taken a class with me before, you probably know what this is. A writer's notebook is like a journal that you keep throughout the term. You want to title those weekly, so week 1, week 2, week 3. Kind of like open up a Microsoft Word blank document, start week 1 and start writing week 2, week 3. And this is kind of like a chance for you to kind of put your thoughts down, maybe some ideas you have or stories, maybe thoughts you had on stories we read in class that you didn't get to put in discussion boards. Maybe responses to feedback on your stories. Use this any way you would like. I've had some students who strictly use it to write their responses to things in the class. I've had some students who have used it really as like a guide, like a daily journal that you use. I had journals growing up in high school where they would kind of like write down what they were feeling that week, what happened to them that week. Use it as you will. Use it as much as you like or as minimum as you like. But it is not due until the end of the semester, so end of the term. So you have all term to work on that. And then discussion board posts, it's a big part of the class too. Discussion boards are 40% of your grade. These involve writing assignments, so I do have some writing prompts in there. Those are called short stories, so they're usually no more than 500 words, which is like 2 pages double spaced. Those are really short. So there are some of those in discussion posts. There are peer reviews where you review each other's work, responses to some of the readings. So discussion posts are a big part of your grade because that is where the most interaction has in the class. Grading promptness. So you'll typically receive graded feedback from me on discussion board posts within 1 to 3 days after that discussion post closes. So the last discussion I have closes on a Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. So you'll receive feedback on discussion posts by the end of the day that Wednesday, or Thursday, really. For short story assignments, so your short stories that are the 3 short stories, 5 to 7 pages, you'll typically receive gradebook or feedback on those within 1 week. So I do try to make sure I give you guys feedback pretty quickly. It takes me about 1 week to read and grade all the short stories. But I do try to make sure I give you guys feedback really quickly. Submitting assignments. So you will be using Times New Roman, 12-point font. Make sure you double space all of your assignments. Make sure that for your discussion entries, there are at least 1 paragraph, 1 full paragraph. So between 10 to 12 sentences long. Some of them I may require 2 paragraphs, but be mindful of that. And then for discussion posts, you are expected to respond to at least 2 classmates' posts whenever a discussion post asks for it. I think the majority of the discussion posts I require for you to reply to at least 2 students. And again, we don't see each other face to face, so that's the way for you to kind of interact with your classmates. Let's see here. Americans with Disability Act. If you fall under needing ADA, I do provide an email and a phone number to contact for that. Honesty and plagiarism. This is a big deal. Please do not plagiarize. I don't want to read someone else's stuff. I want to read yours. All of your assignments do go through a plagiarism detection software. It's turnitin.com. So if you do use anything that's not your own words, if you copy something from a website, it does tell me where that website is. It does tell me specifically what was copied. Same thing with AI. So AI is a big thing now. It's been included in Turnitin, and all of your assignments have to pass an AI check. If they do not pass an AI check, you will be given a 0 for that assignment. Please don't risk that. Please make sure that you're writing your own work. Make sure that it is stuff that you have written. You have to pass an AI check, and you cannot submit anything that has been copied. Okay. With that said, you also cannot submit anything you've already submitted for another class. That's called plagiarizing yourself. So if you've submitted an assignment, a story for another creative writing class or another class in general, and it has been graded, you cannot submit it for this class. Okay. Let's see. So the course schedule, I do provide you a course schedule. I have a paper copy of the syllabus in Canvas, along with on the syllabus tab. You can read all that on there as well. The short stories we'll be reading are Telltale Heart, Story of an Hour, Babylon Revisited, Yellow Wallpaper, A Clean, Well-Lighted Place, and Editha. These are really good stories. I try to find short stories that included a lot of female characters and male characters that have different themes, different storylines going on. So I think these would be really, really good. And then some different kind of writing prompts I have for you. I have like a character swap where I take you, give you 2 stories. I want you to swap the characters to write another story. I do a perspective writing prompt where I ask you to write a story from a perspective of a different character in the novel. So like for The Great Gatsby, for instance, it's written by Nick, and I may ask you to write it from Daisy's point of view. So I try to come up with some really cool, interesting writing prompts for fan fiction. And then for your 3 big short stories, you're really given a chance to write about anything. I do have a PowerPoint giving you a guideline of fan fiction and kind of what to stay with, things to avoid. But overall, it's kind of like your own thing. I decided to do a class on fan fiction because I like the idea of taking things from stories that I love and changing it. One of the things that I always saw was if you could save any character from any story you've written, who would you save? And if I were to write a fan fiction novel, I would love to write a fan fiction novel from Severus Snape's point of view from Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. If you can see over here, my little gadgets and dudes. I love Harry Potter, and if I could save Severus Snape from that story, I would love to. So I kind of like the idea of like taking something from a story and changing it up, because we all have stories that we love. We all have characters we love. We all have points. I know you guys have read a book before and been like, can't believe that happened, man. It's happened to me so many times. So I like the idea of taking stories and changing them and molding them into what I would like. And so that's what I want to do with this class. So if you have any questions, let me know. I look forward to a great term with you guys, and I look forward to getting to know you.